Hello and welcome to what's the name of this show? Adam's Music Box, that's it. You know. Uh but anyway, forget guessing the name of this show because I want to talk about one of my favorite bands ever, the Guess Who. And I would put forward that the Guess Who, Burton Cummings being the main songwriter, but of course Randy Bachman, great in his own right. I would argue that the Guess Who wrote some of the very best songs of all time, but also they wrote some of the most diverse songs of all time. There wasn't a single Guess Who sound. The Guess Who sound was just playing really good songs in a really, really convincing way. Now, the band started out as sort of a beat group based on sort of the English model. They were, of course, a Canadian band, which means that both geographically and culturally, they were sort of at an intersection of where US and UK culture meet for whatever similarities and differences those entail. But by the late 60s, they really invented a sound that was all their own, and they began really coming out with some amazing singles that were not only perfect for the time, but they really, really stand the test of time. The first albums, obviously, like I said, they were more into the sort of beat stuff, but then you had an album from 1969 which really introduced them to the wider world. This is when they went from being a sort of Canadian band to being a global phenomenon. And the track that led off the Wheatfield Soul album from early 69 was These Eyes. One of the very best ballads ever, particularly in the rock medium. I would frankly put it up there with George Harrison's Something, a song that Frank Sinatra said was the finest love song ever made. Everything about These Eyes was just perfect. The chord changes, the arrangement, the way that Burton Cummings delivers the vocal. Take a listen to it, and you'll see that while the song sounds like a relatively simple single, it is harmonically very, very complex. And I think one of the signs of a great song is where the complexity is actually hidden and the listener just gets to enjoy it at an emotional, visceral level. So that absolutely brilliant. Then, of course, we have the album Canned Wheat that comes next. That has huge hits, No Time. What a great song. Again, such interesting chords and harmonies in that wonderful, wonderful song. The song Laughing, wonderful. The song Undone really shows off their jazzy side. You could call it kind of a pop jazz fusion. Then, of course, Strength to Strength, American Woman, 1970. That song, absolutely the stuff of legend. And they also had No Sugar Tonight, another hard rocking song. And they continued, Hand Me Down World from their next album, Share the Land. One of the best songs ever, frankly. Really, really wonderful. And they kept going. They kept coming out with really interesting songs. And when Randy Bachman left, it was really Burton Cummings. It was always kind of Burton's band, but he really became the central songwriter. Glamour Boy from the 10 album from 73. Some say it was a diss of David Bowie, but it's really, really a well-written song with those classic Guess Who chords. Now, the band sold millions of records. Not only can they sell out auditoria today, but we have a sort of conundrum with a allegedly fake Guess Who that features only Gary Peterson, the longtime drummer for the band, but none of the others, and there have been lawsuits. But the point is, if a band calling itself the Guess Who with only one original member can still sell out shows, just imagine how big they were when they were really in their prime with Burton Cummings doing what he did best. I mean, a lot of people say they should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and of course they should. Not that the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame matters to me, or frankly to most fans, but they are just, I would say more importantly, if there were a Songwriters Hall of Fame, and I think there is, but I don't really pay attention to Halls of Fame, they should be in that, Burton Cummings in particular, because the songs he wrote are absolutely some of the best songs of all time. That's certainly what I think. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.